I am Phantom 5800, and this is the Dog Island for the Wii. Um, I can explain as I'm going, so I'm just gonna kind of go right into it. Time will start as soon as I hit go here in 3, 2, 1, go. So, this is an RPG, for lack of really any better description. We're gonna play as a dog. And the best part about that is we had a bid war going on earlier to name the dog, and the name is Cat. So our dog's name is going to be Cat for the next 2.5 hours. This is the starting village. This is Pororo Town. It's basically just where we are, where we live, where our family is, and all of the people that we know, or dogs, rather. We're going to go through character creation real quick. It doesn't take too long. This is personal preference for me. I would have done a bid war for breed selection, but there's too many options. We have literally 48 different breeds of dogs to pick from, and each one has different variations. So it can get pretty complicated. We are Cat, by the way. That was actually a pretty fast name entry. We are Cat, we have a brother, and we're just gonna see what it's like to be a dog in this world of only dogs. I will be skipping all the cutscenes, so I do recommend, if you play this game casually, the cutscenes are incredible. And this game is just very, very fun to play casually. So, this is our family. We are naked, our brother is on the left, he has a cool scarf, and our mom has a hat and necklace. So far that's really all we need to know. Our mom is basically telling us, hey, Dad hasn't come home with milk, he's been gone for years. We need you to go get milk for your brother. So, first things first, turn up text speed all the way, and we're running. The entire game is controlled by pointing at the screen and holding the B button. And that's how I run. And the game is teaching us now, like, this is how you move. You can see the cursor, that's just my direction of where I'm going. Most of the time I will be two-handing the Wii remote because using the D-pad for camera is very good. This is the milkman. He is going to give us milk, but first he lost his basket full of milk, and we need to find it. So this is the introduction to the core mechanic of sniffing. We need to sniff throughout the world to be able to find different scents. And as part of that, we need to find 100 cents in total to complete the game. This was not the basket, but that's a cent, so we take that. Really. And here's the basket for the mailman. I won't be keeping track of every cent because most of them are part of the route. However, there are 25 cents that I will need to find randomly. And for that, I'll have to basically just keep track in my head of how many we have. So, now that we have milk, we're going to take it back to our brother. Milk. That milk actually does count as a cent, so that's 3 so far in total. The mailman is how you save the game, but we're just not going to ever talk to him. Because why would we ever want to talk and save? So, back home, giving milk to our brother. What we're going to find out very soon here is our brother is sick. He has a very sort of just deadly illness. There's no cure. And he basically just needs bed rest to hopefully recover. But so far, signs don't look great. There's a carnival tonight, though. And our brother wanted to go, but his illness is keeping him bedridden at this point. So we're going out without him. Because Mom will not let him leave the house. And this is the carnival game. We are going to find some seashells that are just kind of hidden around the village. And our brother snuck out of the house. This isn't a problem, right? Hopefully. Obviously, we are mad, we are growling. But we're just going to kind of let him sit here. As long as he doesn't do anything, or it's fine. So we're going to find some seashells. They're just kind of hidden in very consistent locations. Down here is the second one. There's also another scent over here. This is glass. Some very pretty looking glass. We're just going to pick that up. We'll never use it, but it's a scent. Found all the shells, and we go back. And we have completed the carnival game. In this sequence of cutscenes, our brother has gotten worse because, of course, the doctor says that he can't do anything, but he knows of a doctor who might be able to help. And that doctor lives on a place called the Dog Island. So, we are going to go to the Dog Island. And how do we get there? Well, there's a pirate. He has a boat. We're going to take his ship. He's been so generous as to offer us a ride to the Dog Island on his pirate ship. So, let's go. We take it. Not going to talk to Mom. Just going to leave. And after a couple more cutscenes, we're on the boat. And of course, what do you do on the boat? Well, you got to do chores, right? There is... The first thing they want you to do today is they want you to swab the deck. There's dirt all over the deck. They want it gone. Fun fact is that just told us we learned what dirt smells like. So that's a scent. I actually learned this very recently. I used to always go up to the second step to scratch. Oh, I'm not far enough over. There it is. You can actually just clean it up on the first step, and it's fine. Only 3 patches of dirt on the first day. Not too bad. The second day on the boat, they're going to teach us one of the core mini-games, and that's fishing. Fishing is super RNG. At various points in the game, we will need to fish and get a variety of things. The odds of getting perfect fish in every single instance is 1.75%. This is actually already a perfect tutorial. In the case where I get every single fishing location perfect, I'm going to donate $50 at the end of the run. If that doesn't happen, which is very likely, what I do is I will donate $5 for every fish I catch that I don't want. And if anyone is willing to match that or do something similar, they're welcome to, please. It's for a good cause. So I need to catch 2 fish. I need to catch a Pacific Salary and a sea bass. This should be a sea bass. Both of them have a 38-ish% chance of being caught here. There is another fish that has around a 10% chance. It's not terrible if we get it, though, because it counts as a cent, and we need 25 of those in total. And there's a Pacific Salary. That's already a perfect boat. Kind of love to see it. Also, if you haven't noticed already, the music in this game is just constant bangers. It's honestly incredible. It just kind of keeps going ham for no reason. So if we were to get extra fish here, not only does it punish us for losing time getting the extra fish, but that guy has extra text boxes. So we like to avoid that. When I do PB attempts, I reset if I don't have a perfect boat. It's not terrible odds for the boat itself. It's like maybe half the time you should be getting an ideal perfect boat. And now for the last day on the boat, we have to swab the deck one more time. But there are now 5 patches of dirt. Maybe we should have cleaned it the second day also, instead of fishing. But it's not too bad. They're all in a very reasonable path. And you'll notice that the way I dig is I do it by shaking the Wii remote. Shaking the Wii remote is a very common mechanic in this game, and something I'll be doing quite a bit of. Especially when we get to more minigames. So that was the last day on the boat. I'm gonna skip these cutscenes, but the boat crashes in a storm, and we wash up on the shore of somewhere. Luckily for us, this is Amalia, and she's gonna tell us the place that we landed is the Dog Island, which is pretty convenient because that's where we wanted to go anyway. So it works out, even if we crashed and probably don't currently have a boat as far as we know, or any way to get home. That's fine. So what Amalia is gonna do now is she's gonna introduce us to all of the important characters that we need to be immediately familiar with. I'm going right here. So this is the Doctor. This is Dr. Potan. And he is the one who is going to help our brother, supposedly. But he's just going to ask us to come back tomorrow. He's busy today. And he'll have stuff to make us do later. As long as we find housing. So that's the next thing. We need to find housing. Luckily, there's a landlord that has a house for rent. And his name is Noble. So we're going to go meet Noble. He has a monocle because he's rich. I think that's how it works. He owns a lot of property on the island. And he's willing to rent us our house. On the condition that it is haunted and we rid it of ghosts. So, I don't think that's too bad of a deal. He's willing to let us stay there as long as we exercise his problem with his rental home. So let's just go take care of that real quick. We obviously know nothing about what it could be, but there's some kind of like weird creature that lives in that house. And now we get this tense music. Mysterious scent is in the fireplace. And this is Potassi. Potassi, you can kind of think of him like Navi from Ocarina of Time or any other Zelda fairy-esque creature. He's going to be our guide in this world. He's kind of mostly just there to explain things to the player, provide exposition, and kind of tell you where to go next. But he's fairly useful later on, as we'll find out in a couple hours. So, now that we know that this place is no longer haunted, we need to go tell Noble, and then he'll let us stay here. Really, it wasn't that big of a deal. The couple things in this house, there's a bed that we can use to heal. There's also a chest where we can store items, which we'll never do. Inventory management in this game is fairly straightforward. Your main inventory has 30 slots. You can hold infinite key items. Key items are not a problem. It's the disposable items that you can only hold 30 of. And they don't stack. And we will be collecting a lot of those items. So there are a few places where we will be death warping to clear our inventory. So I will give you fair warning to look away from the death warps. Okay, so we just planted a tree. It's Patassi's goal in life is to grow that tree effectively. So we're just going to help him do that. It grows through the power of friendship. So we need to make friends with a bunch of dogs, and then the tree will grow over time, and eventually it'll be a pretty big tree in the center of town. So Dr. Potan has told us that, wow, you're new to this place. You don't really know how to sniff. So we need to go find a sniff master who will teach us the art of sniffing. And luckily, as soon as we leave the village, we meet Yilu. He is not actually a sniff master, he's an apprentice. And he's going to teach us basically about the core mechanics of finding new scents and combat. And I don't think many people here probably were expecting me to say combat. This is a bear. You can see he's happy right now. Oh, he's mad. When he's mad, you take damage. And then we say, okay. And he gives us a scent to go find. So we're going to go grab a ring fragment down here. I'm going to do this for my own sanity. Okay, that's cabbage. Not going to lie, I didn't know what that was. This should be over here. I'm going to be picking up a lot of scents early. If I was doing a PB attempt here, I would be spacing these out a lot more, picking up more of just what I know I can get. But since we do need 25 cents and I don't have a physical tracker in front of me, we're just going to try and guess as best we can. So that's 2. And if I forget something, I will most likely be picking up extras anyway. We're going to bark. This is basically the combat tutorial. We are barking, and we can howl also by holding the minus button longer. This will never be used, because there's never really a reason to stun an enemy for longer than a basic bark. Because all we do with this bark is we get the second ring fragment a little ways over here from this snake. Run up behind, bark, and we got it. These early areas are basically just teaching us like core mechanics. Whether or not they are super in-depth or important is another story. But we now have quite a few scents. We've learned how to sniff, basically. We learned how to find things that have been told to us. So we're going to go back to Dr. Potan, and he's going to give us a quest for a flower. It's called a yellow flower. You may see the icon and say, that's a sunflower. No, it's a yellow flower. A sunflower is a different item that has the same icon. The yellow flower is a key item, so we don't need to worry too much about like losing it or anything. When you die, you don't lose key items. You only lose the disposable items. Part of the gimmick of this yellow flower scent is that it's supposed to smell like 2 other things. So ideally you're supposed to like find 2 scents, and then somewhere near those 2 scents would be the yellow flower. But we're just gonna grab it and go. Now one interesting mechanic that you may have seen just now, when I'm digging, I can still sniff. So, optimally, I am overlapping my sniffing with digging animations. By digging up things that I know are there, 100% of the time, I will sniff to try and find things that are close by. And that's effectively just memory and game knowledge. Of like, if I sniff from this location and I see the meter light up this much, I know this item is here. So, this is Frances. She is the nurse, Dr. Poten's assistant, basically. She knows where one of the ingredients is that Dr. Poten needs for medicine, but she's not going to tell us yet, because she's being bullied by a gang of dogs in the village. They're throwing tomatoes at her, and she's not very happy. She wants us to go get something called a brave fruit, so that when she eats it, she'll become brave and be able to stand up to them. So, sure. Let's go grab that for her. The brave fruit is just going to be like on the opposite side here. All the way down. Past all this other stuff. Down by this patch of grass. And this scent is sometimes very hard to find. There's nothing nearby. I'm gonna check here. I don't normally do this. That's just cabbage. We can move on. There's no reason to ever get duplicates of a scent. We only really care about unique scents. So we're going to give Frances her brave fruit, and she's going to tell us where she thinks a blue flower can be found. Which, thank you. So we need 3 flowers for Dr. Poten. He's just telling us one at a time. So Frances tells us where the blue flower is over in the Treely Woods. I should be mentioning the names of these areas. The town here is called Pupsville. The area we keep going back to is the Green Meadows. And now we're going to Treely Woods. I believe the kanji for these areas is very punny and descriptive, but I cannot read Japanese. I originally played this game in English, so I guess I'll go over that real quick. The difference between English and Japanese is, from what we've seen, mostly in load times. Obviously, character length and word lengths are a factor, but load time differences are much bigger. You may not expect it, but the Japanese version does load significantly faster on average, usually cutscenes by about 1/4 of a second each, which isn't a lot on its own, but it does add up over time. So, we're just going to keep going. His name was Goliath, and he lost his axe. Well, his axe broke. He needs a new handle for it. And unfortunately, the only axe handle he knows of is unlucky. This gorilla here. I was waiting for him to fall asleep. Usually when I'm waiting for something to fall asleep like that, I will try and find other scents. And the reason I didn't want to approach him is because he's very hard to approach from behind. Because he has his back to a bridge, and there's no way across that bridge other than if you're already over there. So it's much easier to just wait for him to fall asleep and hope that you get some other scents that are nearby. You don't want to have to just run up on the gorilla and bark at him. That's not gonna end well. So here's the blue flower. The icon's a little purple, but blue, good enough. So I picked up lavender, so that's 3 total. I actually didn't check this. Orange, so that's 4 total. I'm gonna try and keep that in the back of my mind. Mention it every time I pick up a scent. So we're gonna go deliver this blue flower. And this is gonna be kind of the end of day 1. So, day 1, we accomplished not a whole lot. We got some flowers, though. And that's really all that matters. Here you go, Dr. Poten. So, we're going to leave, we're going to go home and go to sleep. That's pretty much all Potassi is going to say here, is, hey, you should go to sleep. And, I mean, there's nothing else to do, so why not? We will get a quick cutscene with the mailman. He will tell us that when he has letters from our family, because he does get letters, or our family does send us letters. We can choose to read them. We never will. At least not in this category. So, off to bed we go. If we were to have taken damage on day one, we would be healing right now, but that's very uncommon. So this cutscene here, Potassi is sick. He has a sort of stomach bug, but we don't know what to do. How do you... What even is Potassi? He called himself an Onk, but what even is that, and how do you help him? Well, we go to Alex here. Alex looks like a smart guy. He lives under a book. Maybe he knows what Potassi is. Unfortunately, we learn right here that he can't see Potassi. In fact, only we can see Potassi. But there is a witch who lives in the forest named Obaba. Maybe she can help. So, we're gonna go off to Treely Woods again. And since it's the second day, there's now a shortcut. This path here wasn't open on the first day, but we can now take this to go to Treely Woods much faster. Mostly just the load screens are... Having one load screen versus two is more than enough of a difference. This is an apple. That should be 5 cents. If I'm lucky, there will be a pumpkin here. But I'll be checking it every single time I come by Obaba's house. This is the witch Obaba. And she's going to tell us that in order to help Potassi, she needs something from where he's from. And effectively, that means we need to go back to our fireplace. So we're going to grab some stuff from the fireplace. Also, okay. Scents do reload, even when you enter houses. So it's worth checking going in and out of Obaba's house until you get the pumpkin. If you never get the pumpkin, that's unfortunate. Bad RNG. Have I said how incredibly unlikely it is to get good RNG? Those are ashes from the fireplace. It is one of the few, if only, items in the game where you just don't get the text box sometimes. And I can't explain why, it just happens. So we're going to go back to Obaba now that we have these ashes. I'm going to check for a pumpkin that should be here. I didn't walk forward enough. That is 6 cents. So I need 19 more. Still. We have the entire game to get them, but it will be necessary. And now that Obaba has rubbed the ashes on her eyes, she can see Potassi, and she can howl at the moon and heal him. I guess. She's magic. As we're gonna learn, there's a lot of little bits of magic in this game. But Obaba's kind of just like the first hint of she's a witch doctor kind of character. So back to Potan, except Francis is out here in the yard. What she's going to tell us is that Dr. Potan ran off, and she wants us to go stalk him, effectively. She doesn't know what he's doing, what he does when he leaves the office, and she needs to know. So we're going to go follow Potan's trail. He went through Green Meadows and Treely Woods. Well, she told us he went to Green Meadows, and we're just following where he went. There's a few cutscenes, and that's most of the path. It's a little interesting to be like, well, we see the cutscene of him going in this direction, so we just kind of go there. You can't shortcut it. You have to do these in order, unfortunately. So it showed us a cutscene of him like effectively crossing this bridge. So we cross the bridge, we get another cutscene of him going down the hill, and we get to go to a new area. So we went from Pupsville to Green Meadows, Treely Woods, and this is Zoomy Lake. So Zoomy Lake, as you can assume, has a lot of water. We're going to learn how to swim real quick. And you may assume, well, man, your control scheme is super limited. How do you swim? By pointing at the screen and holding the B button. So we're going to go over to Dr. Potain here on this island. He's going to tell us a story. We're going to skip the cutscene, but he's telling us a story about why he's here. So this is a grave of a former friend of his who died from a treatment that he gave them. And he goes to mourn them often. Yeah, that's his backstory. Dr. Potain. Oops. So we're gonna go. So Francis told us that Yilu was looking for us. So we're gonna go talk to Yilu instead of Dr. Potain. The third ring fragment. There are 4 of these. The third one is at Zoomy Lake where we just were. So we're gonna go take care of that. The music is just, even if it's the same song for half the game, it's hard not to get into it. So we're going off to Zoomy Lake. Along the way, since I don't have a couple cents still from this area, I will be checking them occasionally. Like, there's one here that I can check. It's here. This is the sunflower, not the yellow flower. This is a sunflower. That's a new item. Don't worry. So that's 7 cents. 7 cents is good. 7 cents when going into Zoomy Lake is very good. This is teaching us a mechanic called scent trails. We don't really use it. There's not really much reason to, because we know where everything is anyway. That's not very lucky. There's usually a scent there, but sometimes you just get unlucky. We're following the scent trail without ever bringing it up, but we get to this gap, and hey, how do we cross the water? This is weird. What's the stump smell like? Oh, it smells like something that hippo might eat. What if we put food on the stump, the hippo comes out of that hole to eat the food, and we jump off the hippo? And that's exactly what we're going to do. So the hippo food actually doesn't spawn until you've learned how it smells. There's a few scents like that. It's kind of weird. A lot of the time, stuff is just always there. But then there's random things like the hippo food that isn't just always there, and it waits until you've picked up the scent to be able to find it. So, now that the hippo is moved out here, we can use him to cross to the other side. And there's sometimes a scent here. Unlucky. One thing about scent trail scents, they are incredibly precise. Not sure how precise, but they're very much near pixel perfect. Most scents you can just kind of pick up if you're in the vicinity, but if it's a scent trail, you need to be spot on. There's very little room for error. So digging twice there is honestly still better than... It's bad for me, but it's still not terrible, honestly. So we're going to go back over to Yilu since we found the ring fragment. We didn't pick up any extra scents in Zoomy Lake, which is unfortunate, but we should be fine. We'll be picking up a lot of extra stuff anyway. So this is a Yi Lu senses something weird in the village, so we're going to go check it out. We get inside the village, notice immediately that no one's outside. So, using your power of smell, you detect that all of the dogs in the village are sick. Some virus hit them, spread to everyone in the time that it took you to go to Zumi Lake and come back. So, new problem to solve. Go to the doctor. He's going to tell us to go find a fruit called a deflungi, I believe, or it's an herb. So we're going to go grab that from Treely Woods. He says it should help everyone, and we have no reason not to trust him, I think. So, the cure for this mysterious flu is out here. Supposedly, this is the cure. Obaba comes by and says, wait, that's not a cure. Don't give that to people. I will come by the doctor's office and help in 5 minutes. So we're going to go back to Dr. Potan and tell him that Obaba said he's wrong, I guess. And immediately we get a cutscene here where everything kind of happens at once. Very convenient that it's only one cutscene to skip. But we're going to see Dr. Potan getting sick from the illness he's been trying to treat people for. And then he's healthy again because Obaba cured everyone. And we're all back to what we were doing. It's almost like it never happened. So we need to grab a white flower now. This is the last one for Dr. Potan to be able to help our brother. It's not even that far. It's only in Green Meadows. The location for the white flower is actually really convenient. Well, I wouldn't say convenient, but it's not bad. There's very consistent just hold forward movement that you can do. And the bear isn't a threat. He's never going to hit you. Grab the white flower. Go back to Dr. Potan. And we get to go help our brother. I think. We've got everything we need. We're going to go back home. I guess we're done, right? We did what we set out to do. We got the medicine for our brother. We're going home with the doctor and the medicine. Mission success. So all he's going to ask here is are you ready to go back home? And we say yes. And we're on the boat. Somehow it's here and isn't shipwrecked anymore. No questions asked. Not sure where the boat was, but we're fine. So we're just going to go up to our house, give the medicine to our brother, and I don't know, I guess we're done, right? Music stops completely for this. Dr. Potan says that the medicine isn't working, but he might have a solution. There is an ancient, what's the word, myth? Regarding a special flower, the legendary flower on Dog Island. And, even better, the Sniff Masters know how to find it. So we need to train with the Sniff Masters to be able to find the legendary flower that can cure our brother's disease. Okay. Doesn't seem that bad. So, back on the boat we go. Back to the Dog Island. Talking to our friends Alex and Amalia. I almost said Amelia, but Amalia. And, yeah. They are now our friends, by the way. It's confirmed that they are our friends, based on story progress. And Alex lives under a book. So, we're gonna rest for today and go see Obaba tomorrow. Because she seems to be able to understand a bit about the Sniff Masters. Also, there are little trees growing. That's nice. So, we sleep through the night, and then we wake up, and Potassi is going to ask us some questions. Luckily, I can just mash A. But he's effectively just asking us, like, hey, what were we going to do? We're going to go see Obaba, right? Yes. You know, do you remember where Obaba lives? Yes. Cool, let's go. Yes, Potassi, I do remember where the witch that we met 5 minutes ago lives. So, I'm going to talk a bit about text mashing. Text mashing is actually very easy. You're just mashing A. You are capped, so it's not like a particularly fast mash that is good enough. Like, you just press the A button. But one thing is we do get dialogue prompts occasionally. And something kind of cool here, in my opinion. When you're mashing A and a dialogue prompt comes up, it will refuse A button presses for a certain amount of time. So it'll accept the down arrow presses, but it won't accept an A button press when it first pops up. So you can be mashing A and be perfectly safe. Because the answer to all of those questions is option 2. And as you really have no danger of accidentally selecting the wrong option. I mash A the entire time and then just press down when those things come up. And it's fine. So Obaba tells us to go talk to Yilu one last time, because he is the apprentice of a Sniff Master, right? He should know how to get us in touch. Yilu has a backstory. He's going to want to tell it to us after we get the last piece of the ring fragment. So first he's going to tell us, hey, I hid the last piece over in Treely Woods. So we're going to go grab that. It's not, like, super well hidden. It's a shame that he just didn't have the entire thing, but oh well. Okay. I'm a little low on sense, so I did want to check that. And by low, I mean it's just because I didn't pick up anything in Zumi Lake yet. It should be 8 total extras. We're actually doing very well on sense, honestly. I'm only concerned because it's marathon. So, over here is the last ring fragment. And there's a key item in this bush. It's grapes. But it's a special grape. It's not just grapes. Because you can find grapes in Green Meadows, but these are special grapes. It's for a quest that we'll never do, but we can still pick up the item and just count it towards the total sense. The total 100, not the 25 that I'm keeping track of mentally. And now we can give the last ring fragment to Yilu, and he's gonna give us the full apprentice ring, because he can reassemble it. And he's gonna ask us if we want to hear his backstory. We just say no. And leave him be. So, if we did say yes, it's about 12 or so text boxes. It's a decent amount. It takes a few 10-ish seconds to probably mash through it. But his backstory is pretty much just that he felt he was being pressured too hard by the Sniff Masters, and he didn't feel like it was for him anymore. Which, okay. We're gonna go take his place as the apprentice. Very convenient scent to pick up. Should be 9. Unlucky there, but it doesn't matter. Off we go to smell more hippo food. This hippo food is actually really cool, and I hope that I get to show off why. So it's going to be on this island over here. And it's just over here next to this tree. So I'm just going to dig up the hippo food. Nice. It's random, but that's good RNG. There can be a green apple that spawns on the exact same location as the hippo food. So you dig up the hippo food because you know where it is, and then you sniff, see if the other scent is there, and if it is, you just dig again for free. Also, with these hippo food placements, I am technically overlapping 2 cutscenes just by mashing A when I got out of the water. Because you do have a animation where your dog shakes off the water. You're going to see it here, because I can't skip it. I'm just completely immobile. But when there's an... Never done that before. When there's an A button press prompt in those locations, you can just mash A and overlap the cutscene. It saves 2 seconds, but still, it's cool. So, over here, this is the first of 2 Sniff Master Temples. This is where Master Road is. Master Road is Yilu's former master. And now that he sees that we have an apprentice ring, we are now his apprentice. That's just how it works. And he's going to give us a trial. He wants us to go find a vase that he buried in Hoya Plains. This is Hoya Plains. This is going to be a journey. There's a lot of stuff that happens here. Many players kind of dread this area just because there's so much going on. It may not look like it from what I'm doing. I move this elephant, and then I'm going to be sniffing for a little bit. Hopefully, I can pick up some sense. Good. I'm looking at that boar. I'm just watching him. Going around his perimeter. Thank you for going to sleep. He has an item I want. So I'm just going to steal it from him while he's asleep. The range at which he becomes aggressive is very large. It is this scent. Okay. There are 2 scents kind of close by that have very similar meters, so I was unsure. I was thrown off by that recently. In fact, in World Record, I was thrown off by that scent. I did not know it was there. And I thought it was a different one when I saw it on the meter. Anyway, the item we stole from the boar is a giraffe's note, which with it we can use these giraffes to get to higher ledges. It's only really relevant on 2 maps, but it's a thing. And it's a single key item, so we never have to get any more or anything. It's just now we can use the giraffes. This is very lucky. So I picked up 3 cents in Hoya. That's incredible, actually. That's really good. Usually you'd pick up maybe 1. This was also a scent trail scent, and as I mentioned earlier, those are nearly pixel perfect. With the flower vase, I have a very good visual cue for it. That's around where the crease in the path is. But that scent is very hard, and it gives a lot of people trouble trying to pick it up. So we're going to give Road his vase. And he's going to tell us, hey, I think there's someone in town that needs help. So, as a Sniff Master in training, we need to help everyone on the Dog Island as much as we can, which just means side quests. This side quest, though, is incredibly important because it's Boris. And Boris is the best dog. He is the most helpful dog we will ever meet. We're going to find out why later, but for now, he doesn't know how to get back to Pupsville, so he gave us some firewood to deliver to Noble. So we're going to do that for him. This next stretch of gameplay, honestly, for the next 5 or so minutes, I don't have a whole lot to talk about. So, like, obviously, this is all being done for Tackle Kids Cancer. The name kind of says it all. This is raising money for a very good cause, and we would really appreciate any and all support, obviously. As I said earlier, for every bad fish I get, I'll be donating $5, and I'll try and keep track of that. If I somehow get perfect RNG, that's 50. So we either want really bad or perfect, most likely. Somewhere in between isn't awful, for the sake of the run at least. My record from not even derusting, but PB attempts is 15th try on one of the fish. Let me give some odds, actually. So for the boat that we were on, getting the first fish we need is about 77%, and getting the second one is about 36% probability-wise, just because of how it works out. For the next fish that we need to catch, there are 6 possible fish you can get. We need 1 of them. And it's a 16% chance on average. But the reason that is because it's actually based on drop tables. So every time you reload a room in the Dog Island, it chooses one of usually like maybe 3 drop tables for every fishing location, for things like scent spawns, etc. And every fishing table has different odds. And for the fish we need, the worst fishing table has a 13% chance, and the best has an 18% chance. The middle one is still a 17-ish% chance. But if you average all that together, you can kind of call it 16%. Not quite, because it's technically better than that. Unless you're just really unlucky. So Boris made it back to Pupsville, and he sort of told us, like, oh, I don't know how to get around the island. I don't have any kind of sense of direction. So Alex recommended us to find a map stone. And what this will do is we'll be able to give it to Boris so he can make a compass for himself. So he can use that compass to get around and really just live a more normal life and not get lost all the time. He's kind of like a delivery guy for the island, and he doesn't know how to get anywhere. So, poor Boris, I guess. He needs GPS. And that's basically what we're making for him. So, what was I saying? Fishing tables, drop tables. I kind of covered all that. Basically, our odds for getting fish is not great. There are 3 segments where we will have to fish. We've done one of them. The second one's coming up not too far off, and the last one is near the end of the game. The one at the end is a 38% chance or so. It's not terrible, but at the same time, unlikely to necessarily get it first try. And that's where I mentioned at the beginning, perfect fishing odds is a 1.75% chance. So technically it's worse because those odds don't account for tutorial fish. Because tutorial fish does in a way matter. The other fish in the ocean where you do the tutorial are just slower to catch than a Pacific Sauri. So if you get unlucky and get not the 38% chance or 36% chance, then the fish just takes longer to catch and you lose maybe 10 seconds. But that's usually not factored in when caring about odds. I personally would not reset over the tutorial, but I would reset over getting duplicates in PB attempts. So, we made it back to Pupsville with the mapstone, and we're going to give it to Boris. We're not going to immediately see what this does, but it's it'll be useful in a little bit. So, we're going to go talk to Amalia, because she's having some issues. And her issues are the Victory Gang. The Victory Gang is this sort of like group of dogs that are just causing trouble for people. And she tells us that their leader ran off to retire. So the leader, Bill, is no longer around, and they're just kind of like in chaos. They're all fighting to become leader, all trying to prove themselves. So we need to go talk to Bill and try and figure this out. So Bill lives down at the beach, because what else do you do when you retire from leading a gang? There's a scent that can spawn next to this house, and hopefully it does. Nah, not this time. I have gone runs without getting it, but I feel like it comes up pretty often. So every member of the Victory Gang has a badge, and Bill hid his badge in Treely Woods, so we're gonna go get that. And I'm going to intentionally take some damage on the way, because I'm going to Death Warp out of Treely Woods. So, I want to be at 1 heart. Being at 1.5 is still possible to get a good Death Warp, but it's RNG, let's just say. So, over here is Bill's Victory Gang badge. And we're going to run right up to the gorilla and die. Luckily, death isn't really that big of a deal. What it does is it puts you back at the beginning of the area, which is where we wanted to go anyway. And then it empties your inventory. So if your inventory of 30 items ever gets full, it gives you a menu to drop or add new items. So we want to make sure our inventory never really gets full. And that's the main reason for Death Warps, is to just clear our inventory once in a while at the most convenient opportunities. And that gorilla just happens to be a very convenient opportunity, because he's right next to an item we need to pick up. So now that we have Bill's gang badge, we're going to go back to the Victory Gang and tell them, hey, Bill gave us this badge. We're the leader now. And that's going to go over perfectly, right? Not so much. Of course, we demand to be their leaders, and they say, you need to prove yourself. So every dog in the gang is going to have a quest. And we're going to start with Camu's quest, because it's the only one in Pupsville. We're going to play hide and seek with him and 2 other dogs. Luckily, we know where they are. Like, this is the first one. It may not look like much, but this is Clark. Clark is... We're going to talk to him more in a little bit, but he is a bug enthusiast. And you may say, bug enthusiast? Well, what does that mean? Well, just like fishing, there's bugs in the world, and we can choose to catch them once we've learned how to from Clark. And this is Curtis. Curtis is a fishing enthusiast, and he's going to make us find a fish for him in order to prove our worth as the leader of the gang. And that's where we're going to potentially suffer. And here's Camus. We do this last because digging up Camus' medal here to find him warps us back to the Victory Gang hideout. No matter if we do him last or in any other order. As soon as we talk to Camus, we get teleported back here. So what they did is they told us that the princess is missing and we need to go save her. So, we're going to talk to Boris. And with the power of Boris, we are going to go to Zumi Village. Much faster than if we were to run there. As you saw a little while ago when we were doing Boris's quest, it takes about 2.5 minutes to run from Hoya Plains to Pupsville. And with Boris, we're there pretty much instantly. At least as instant as you can be. So, the princess was over here looking at some bees, I think. This is Catherine. Catherine? Katrina? I don't know. It's a K name. And she wants to remove the bees from the path. Well, we have a flower for that. This is a key item we picked up on our first trip to Hoya Plains. It just happened to be there, and it's convenient to grab. When we're grabbing everything else anyway. So now she takes us back to her house, which is also Noble's house. And we're going to do something real quick. We're going to just take something from her room because we want it. We don't ever use it, but it's worth picking up. Its location, though, is awful. So this is... I'll just show you. Like, the button to sniff to find sense is the A button. If I were to press A right now, I would talk to Dougal. There's the scent. If you talk to Dougal, that's about 45 seconds of time loss. Because he's going to explain his purpose in cataloging all of the fish in the world. Not even in 100% do we do that. Only, there's no category where we ever have to talk to Dougal. So, he's just kind of there. There will be another dog there for insects later. But they're not there yet because we haven't been introduced to the mechanic of catching insects. And this is Peter. He's giving us a quest. Peter is madly in love with Amalia, who we already know. And his quest line revolves solely around finding items that he can give to Amalia to impress her. Speaking of Amalia, she's very mad at Alex because he won't leave his book. So we need to convince Alex to leave his book by solving his riddles. His first riddle is we need to find an item. I don't remember the exact riddle, honestly, but we're going to just go inside the Victory Gang hideout and take a candle and give it to Alex. Because that's what he wanted from us. This is also weird to me. This is effectively a side quest that has 3 cutscenes. And there's nothing else like that in this game. They just really liked Amalia and Alex. And now we're going to solve one more riddle. Again, I don't know what the riddle itself is supposed to be, but I know what the answer is. It just happens. You know, those RPG systems in other languages where you just know, like, it's the second one. And it's just kind of how it is. The answer in English is nail, but I don't know what the riddle itself is asking. So we're going to go over here. We're going to trigger a cutscene with Frances, because we're going to learn about Frances's backstory. She's being bullied again, by the way. They're throwing tomatoes at her because she's afraid of blood. So Frances is a nurse. She's afraid of blood. She has her own traumatic backstory of attacking another puppy when she was young and kind of just running away. So she's afraid of blood ever since then. And she wants us to go find her childhood friend and make sure that they're still alive, because she doesn't know. I'm not even paraphrasing. This is literally her backstory. Anyway, her friend will be in Zumi Village, so we're going to talk to them later after we do 2 more quests. And those 2 quests are going to be for Clark and Curtis. And when I say Curtis, I mean it's time for fishing. After we learn about bug catching, obviously, from Clark. Bug catching, unlike fishing, is very minimal RNG, because you can get at least a hint as to what type of bug you're finding in the overworld. Like if it's a butterfly, you know it's a type of butterfly. If it's like a cricket thing, you know it's either like a cricket or a grasshopper. Or if it's a beetle, you know it's a beetle. With fish, it's completely random, but with the bugs, you can kind of get a sense for what they're supposed to be. And their spawn locations are much more consistent. Unlucky. I was trying to do that quickly. Sometimes it just doesn't want me to. Yeah, sometimes it just jumps the other way if I try and do it too fast. There we go. Not a big deal. That's one of the few times we will ever even use that mechanic. Bug catching is, for beginners, a very good way of picking up sense. And I heavily recommend it for anyone that ever picks up this game. Like, hey, for your first runs, just catch some bugs. Like, they're not bad. And they're kind of just free to use for sense if you really need them. Like, you see where they are already. You don't need to sniff. You kind of just know. But when you're trying to grind for maybe a top time, it does take longer than just knowing where the other scents are anyway, unfortunately. And here we are, fishing. This is the 16% chance of getting what we want. I need to keep track of the extra fish, by the way, for the donation at the end. This is a chance of being the right fish based on its size. It's not. Okay, that's 1. And we'll be here until we get a black bass, specifically. 2. Also, it's only bad for time if we get duplicates. A duplicate loses you about 16 seconds on average because it's not giving you a scent. But if you're getting a new fish, it only loses you about 5 seconds compared to just picking up a scent normally. 3. But for the sake of the donation, I'm counting all extra fish that are not the black bass. 4. This could be a lot, not gonna lie. 5. With 3 cents also. I should be at 14 extra cents. I'll end up checking that later. I might end up just counting the total cents at some point. Was that 6? I think that was 6. Seven. My record in PB attempts, or even in just like D-Rust, no resets, is 15 currently. Eight. This is the worst RNG in the run. So It's honestly expected. Even bad, though, even if it's bad RNG, it doesn't waste, like, too much time. 9, I think? Because you are getting sense, so that does help at the end of the day. Cool. 10. Alright, we're already past the point of if I had perfect RNG. $11. Cool. Let's go, let's go. Hopefully someone else is matching me for this, because that'd be sick if it's not just me. Obviously, I don't expect anyone to. 12. I just won a black bass. This might be the bad fishing table, so this might be a 13%. There it is. Okay, so 12 so far is what I'm at. That's $60, so not nothing. But it's going to a good cause. And the bug that Clark wants is over here. 100% consistent. No RNG involved. Other than, I guess, the butterfly's movement, right? That didn't count. Okay. I thought that would have counted. So what I'm probably going to do is I'm probably going to end up picking up a lot of extra cents. Because I lost track of my cent count. Entirely honest there. And then I'll probably end up counting at some point. If I feel like I need to. I have forgotten to talk to Clark and Curtis before after picking up their stuff. So, don't forget that. I never said what these little bones are. When you complete quests, you get a currency called a woof. And woofs can be used to buy various things. One of the things that woofs buy you, Boris actually charges you for fast travel. 1 woof for every time you use him. And by the way, this is Elaine. This is Francis's old friend from her childhood. So we're reintroducing them. It's just a back and forth of Francis doesn't believe she's alive, and they're just trying to prove it. So we're going to, after this, just head off to a new area through the Hoya Plains. And this is going to be our first, like, dramatic shift in temperature. This is going to be the sandy desert. Specifically the South Sandy Desert. Because there are 2. North and South. And in the middle is a town called Giggly Village. Where we will be visiting that quite often. Oh, convenient. So if a bug is like just in my path, I'm gonna grab it. Why not? Why not pick up some extra cents? I'm already at 12 fish. That's insane. Okay, so Patassi's telling us about temperature. If we stay in the desert too long, we actually overheat. And overheating is very fast damage over time that we take. I don't normally pick up the banana there because there's another location that I would grab it at, but I'm going to clear out our scents earlier rather than later. So this over here is what Peter wanted. It's a romantic drop, or a dewdrop on a leaf, I guess, that he's gonna give to Amalia. Was I saying something about heat? Heat, staying out in the desert effectively just kills you. That's really all it is. You also get warned a bit about poison and paralysis statuses here. Different snakes, when they attack you, can poison you or paralyze you. Poison is what it sounds like. It's damage over time. And it's not slow, but also not, like, fast. It's kind of just like a moderate speed. But the only way to heal it is with an antidote, and we do not have those. So we would just die. Poison actually stays through all instances of any transition whatsoever. So, we're going to take Boris here and go back to Pupsville. And we're just going to turn in the quests that we've completed at this point. I didn't want to talk to Boris. Actually, I'm going to pick up one more quest here. This is Mary Teresa. She owns a furniture store. So we're going to do this real quick. She has a delivery for Noble, and that's really about it. It takes no time at all out of our day. And you may notice we picked up a branch in the North Sandy Desert. Well, that branch is for Jeremy here. He gives us a quest to find an ash tree branch because he really wants a new stick. And, well, we got it. So there's a little bit of extra, like, hey, you already have it. Here you go. Back and forth. That's pretty much all that's going on here. This quest for Jeremy, we'll come back to it, but he has a lot that he needs to do with his new stick. And then we're going to go deliver to Noble and Peter and kind of just, like, move on. We're actually almost done with this sort of, like, back and forth side questing segment. So deliver furniture to Peter, or Noble. Peter's the other one. Deliver this to Peter. And now he's going to give his new gift to Amalia off screen. We don't have to watch him get rejected. Sort of, I guess this is a fun fact. If you pick a boy dog, you can choose to go on a date with Amalia. Which, interesting. This game does have dating. It's a very small part of it. Like, there aren't very many partners you can choose. And we check on the tree. The tree is bigger now. That means we've made more friends. So that's pretty good, honestly. And we have one more side quest we need to do. And it's for Bill. So we get to bookend this sort of like side questing segment with Bill on both ends. Except this one's a bit shorter, actually, than his last one. His last one wasn't even that long. This one is just shorter. So Bill, he's really craving some crab. He just can't catch any crabs. Not sure why. He's at the pier. He just can't get anything. Well, that's because you don't find crabs fishing, Bill. They're literally by your house. So we give him the crab, and that's mission complete. The reason we need to do a bunch of these side quests isn't just for sense. As I said earlier, doing side quests for making friends makes the tree grow. So there is a threshold for how many... Okay, I've never done this before. I'm not doing that. I've never gone for those bugs. I'm not going to now. I didn't think it would be that small, in all honesty. Anyway. the tree will grow over time, and we need to get the tree to its maximum size. So that's basically one of our end goals here, is to get the tree to its full size, along with 100 cents. So, we're going to go see Master Road as soon as I can walk into the door. So Master Road tells us that he's going to level us up first. Twice, in fact. And then he's going to tell us he has nothing left to teach. He has taught us everything. And what has he taught us? I don't know. We did one quest for him. But he's taught us everything he needs to teach us. And we can go meet Master Tao. The real Sniff Master. It's like, oh, okay. Well, okay. Not quite yet. We do need to do one thing first. We do need to get a certificate to prove that we are a capable Sniff Master Apprentice. So, we're going to take Boris over here to the desert. And way over here, there's a Sphinx. I mean, I don't know what you call it when it's a dog head, honestly. Because I think the Sphinx is specifically the cat head. Anyway. It's telling us that there is a key that one of the snakes has. So we need to get the key from the snake. It's very similar to getting the ring fragment from earlier. It's just these snakes are mildly more aggressive, I guess. But there we go. There's the key. I'm gonna check this. No? Okay. So, now that we have the key to the Sphinx, it opened up a glowing spot in the ground. Sure. And we're gonna go over there and dig. Kind of unfortunate that the glowing spot is literally right next to the snake we just barked at. Oh well. I don't know why they couldn't have put it somewhere else. As you can see from a very simple bark though, that snake was down for a very long time. That's one of the reasons that we don't really howl. There's never really a pressing need to stun an enemy for longer than what we already do. So we're gonna go back to Zumi Village. We have the certificate, we just need to show Road that we have it. And then he'll tell us we can go meet Master Tao, and Master Tao lives in a place called the Gola Highlands. And you get to Gola Highlands actually from Green Meadows. Shockingly enough, we get to go back to the first area again for a new path. So, also these Boris menus, I cannot read a single thing. I recognize a few of them. Like if I see the kanji for Giggly Village, I know which one that is. Or if I see one for Gola Highlands, I know which one that is. But most of these menus I just have memorized at this point. So, down here, this is the path to Gola Highlands. There's a bridge across the river, and then you just go kind of up and around. This is Henry. As you can see, the bridge is out, and there's no way we could make that jump. It would be too dangerous. So, we need to repair the bridge. Do we know someone that can repair bridges? Apparently, Goliath might be able to help. He's the dog with the axe earlier in the game. So we fixed his axe, maybe he'll fix the bridge. That seems like a reasonable thing to do. He lives over here in Treeley Woods. Pretty convenient. He's just the other house in the woods. And then he's gonna say, oh, let me go take a look at this bridge. And it's like, yeah, this bridge is broken. But I can fix it. If only I had a nail. A nail. Go get me a nail. Alright. Who would have nails? Well, I guess the furniture store lady might have nails. She probably repairs furniture, right? That would make some sense. So let's go grab a nail. Literally one. Not plural. She's not giving us multiple nails. She is giving us a nail. A nail. To fix this bridge. From the furniture store. So, quality. For sure, 100% quality. I'm sure nothing could possibly go wrong with this bridge. I would trust it. So with the power of Goliath, his axe, I guess, and one nail, this bridge is getting repaired. And there it is. It is a bridge, and we can cross it. We can go to Gola Highlands now. So in Gola Highlands, I actually normally would be skipping a couple things. I'm going to show them off anyway, though. They're definitely slower scents to pick up, but they're very consistent. And if I were recommending anyone like new playing this game, like, yeah, you pick these up. They're always going to be there. And I'll explain why they're slow when I get there. This is elephant food again. This is different elephant food, though, than the apple we found before, because we need to move a different elephant. Because we need to cross another gap. And what better way than to move large animals into the path? Okay. Really? That blue meter is sometimes a lie. Where did the... There it is. Okay. This ladybug is actually free if it spawns. It can be a cricket also in this location. But either way, it's still really good to get. I walked too far, I think. It should be like... No, it's a different scent. There is a scent there, but it didn't... I don't think it spawned. So similar to Hoya, this is also Giraffe Town. We're going to use these giraffes to grab some other items. This one up here is a cork board. Why is there a cork board up here? This one down here is a Saffron Flower. This is just a free pickup. I don't think this is this scent. No, it's not. So we actually... I personally skip the Saffron Flower in most runs because you have to use the giraffe to get back up. And using that giraffe, it's not terribly slow, but it's still noticeable. Same with this item here. This is Lapis. We have to use the giraffe to get back up, and using the giraffe is slower than just getting another scent somewhere else. So that's really the only reason we really skip those, or ever would, is because just because you don't have to get them necessarily, you can get other scents that are faster to pick up. Before we go to the dojo, we're going to push this boulder down the hill. And then kind of just run down here and go to the dojo. What that did was it opened up a path that we're going to use in a little bit. This is Master Tao's dojo. So, we have a new Sniff Master. And he, interestingly enough, does not have a sense of smell. He lost his sense of smell years ago from overusing his nose or something of the matter, I guess. But he's still the best there is. Without a sense of smell, he can still sniff better than every other dog. So he's going to train us. He told us a bunch of stuff we need, and we're just kind of like mashing through. One of the things he did mention was 100 cents. There it is again. Yes, we understand. So, Master Tao actually has grapes under his windowsill. This scent is actually guaranteed. It just random which of the two windows it's under. But it will always be there. And if it's not, then I have not been proven wrong yet on that one. Right. I was like, who am I going to talk to? Oh, right, I'm going to go talk to this lady in here. So we have a quest now to go get a rose from Shiro Caves, the new area we just opened up, basically, at the end of Gola. And she gives us a key that we can use to get deeper into the caves. And this is where we meet the worst enemy. The worst enemy type. I'm just going to not say what it is until they show up. It's going to be a few minutes, but I think you will understand why they are really annoying. So, we're back to Gola, and we're going to just cross these bridges and go to Chiro Village. Interesting enough that there is a village right next to the Gola fast travel point. I honestly might be very good on sense, but we'll find out, like, in a little while. I've picked up a lot more than I normally do by this point. So this is a fig. There's two scents that could spawn, like, basically right there, and I just knew that I wanted the fig. Grab this butterfly because it is consistent, other than me being bad at catching a butterfly. There we go. This butterfly is always the same butterfly. It always spawns here. There's really very little reason not to get it, honestly. At least on one of your trips through. We do make 3 trips through this room. So we're going to go over here. We're going to grab the blue rose and bring it back to Pupsville. It just happens to be immediately as you walk in, which is very convenient. The next time I enter Chiro Caves, I will be doing another Death Warp to mostly clear my inventory. Because I have picked up a lot of stuff. And it's just a matter of time before it gets full, unfortunately. So I want to keep that inventory nice and clean. We're going to take Boris here. Make our way over to Pupsville again. I should say, this game was released on Wii and PS2. And I do currently have record for both versions. The Wii record is a 2:27:20, and the PS2 record is a 3:09 in some amount of seconds. You may say, that's a big time difference, which it is. And that time difference is entirely in load times. The PS2 version just loads significantly slower at every opportunity it has to load the game. It does benefit in some spots from having button controls, but it also feels generally weird. I mean, Zoomy Chiro. It's also interesting to me here that Chiro is so high on the list. Because for the most part, the areas appear in the Boris list in the order that you would normally like get to them in game, or close to. So it's just kind of weird that Chiro Village is so high up, which the theory is that maybe it was supposed to be an earlier location originally, but who knows? Don't even know if the developers are still there. This game, by the way, is made by a company called Ukes, who, I don't know who's familiar with them particularly. Most of their development history is licensed wrestling games. And the Dog Island for Wii and PS2. That is their catalog. They made a lot of the WWE games back in the day, and they're currently doing, I think, AWE stuff. They just kind of went back to what they were doing before, after Dog Island. This is Henry again. He's going to tell us that we need some statues. Easy enough. So, we also need something this crocodile has. Those are cough drops. Oh, iframes. Iframes ruined me. Thank you. I did want to die there. I picked up 2 items, though, which is really good. The chrysanthemum and cucumber. I don't normally grab the cucumber just because I don't know the exact location for it. This is going to be behind me. Or, okay, no. I'm surprised the pear was actually in front of me a little bit. So this is why the bats are terrible, by the way. I don't think it took much to show that, yeah, these bats are awful. But I just need these 4 statues, and I can move on. The bats were actually really good to me right here. The bats have 2 attacks. One of them is a grab. And the grab takes about 10 seconds. Or it feels like that. Of just... It's just a really long animation to do 1 heart of damage instead of a half heart. And it's completely random. Sometimes you just lose time for no reason there. And here we are in the next, like, different temperature area. This is the chili fields. We're going to do quite a bit here. It's going to be a little fast, I think. I'm not going to pick up any extra scents. I've been picking up a lot, so I should be mostly good there. This bear, though, okay. He honestly kind of cheated there. He doesn't normally see you. There we go. We're just going to take his watch. I'm going to avoid this bear. I really... okay. This is going to be risky, but I kind of want to do the risky strat because it looks cool. I don't have healing items either, because when I death warped, I lost my only healing item, so death doesn't really matter too much. This is just a matter of it's risky, but it looks cool when it works. Worst case scenario, get teleported back to the start of the room. We need to get firewood for that dog there. And there it is. Goodbye, bear. That worked incredibly well. If you're off even a little bit there, you will die. And now we get to do a mini game, actually. The first of 3 major mini games. The leaderboard for this game actually does have ILs for the 3 mini games. The first one here is not particularly easy on Wii. On PS2, this minigame is free. But on Wii, this is hard. And it's entirely because of motion controls. It took me a very long time to really understand like a good technique for this. And we'll see if I can do it. The world record lost 10 seconds on this minigame. So we'll see if I can do this. I have just like this particular position that I try and do this from. So what you want to do is you want to hit the red area. Yeah, this is going to be tough. This is just a matter of not being on my usual setup. Trying to actually do these motion control timings. Being at a different distance from the monitor, yada yada yada. Yeah. Okay. That's fine. That minigame, just there, it was slow, but it was still faster than world record. World record for any percent. By like 5 seconds. Yeah, the motion controls there can be a little finicky, but it's fine. What we're going to do now is we're going to take Boris and go back to Pupsville. Again. We're going to turn in a bunch of quests. And start a new quest chain even. For Jeremy. Which we mentioned briefly before. That he would want to do more with his new stick. This quest, we actually never picked it up, but we found the corkboard. And corkboard obviously goes to the furniture store. So this just counts as a quick turn-in for a quest. There's really nothing else to it. And Alex actually has 2 more riddles for us. Just like the other ones, I can't tell you what the riddles are, but I know what the answers are. The first answer is going to be snail. Or press down twice and then press A. And the final one is going to be backpack. Or just mash A through his text. And then we're going to do something new, honestly. This next thing we're going to do is so new to any percent. There are very few runs that have actually implemented it. Only the top 2 times have this new quest turn-in. Because we didn't know it existed until 4 months ago. So pretty much only new runs from like the last 4 months or newer would have this. You can give the gold watch you found to Noble. And it's a quest. No one knew. no one knew that that was a quest, because the people that ask for the gold watch, there's only 2 of them, and neither of them are noble. You can just give him the watch, and he'll take it and get the quest reward. And it's like 2 lines of dialogue. It's super fast compared to what we used to do. We used to do a quest that didn't involve the watch at all. So Jeremy's quest here, he's gonna make us go to a bunch of areas, and he wants to take his new stick and throw it in the water in a bunch of different places. So we're gonna go throw Jeremy's new ash tree stick in the ocean, a river, a lake, and snow or cold water or whatever it is. This is also the last chance I have for the scent to spawn next to Bill's house. So that you really have 3 chances for this. It's just a matter of whether or not you get it. Hey! There it is. And then we have this quest for Jeremy, part 1. So what Jeremy's doing here is actually imbuing his new staff with magic, with water magic. This is going to be relevant later when Jeremy needs to do weather magic with his staff. And I'm not making that up. Jeremy is the cloud remover. He uses magic to get rid of clouds. It's a very important job. So I have all the scents in Treely Woods. I have so much in Green Meadows. I'm basically just gonna pick up the really common scents and maybe just hope that that's enough, and count if I am short. I'm fine with that, actually. Because I feel like I have way more scents than I need. I haven't gotten rosemary yet, so this could be here. It's not, though. And this is the 3rd body of water for Jeremy. And now we're going to go back to the chili fields. And luckily, this is a very easy menu, even though you only do it once. It's just up 3. It took me a while to remember this one in particular for some reason. I guess it's because you only do it once. Henry is here. We're actually not going to talk to him. We used to do that quest. We replaced that quest with giving Noble a watch. And I'll tell you why. I mentioned earlier in the run that the scent trail items are very, very precise. Like, near pixel perfect to dig up. Well, Henry's quest here is for a scent trail scent. And I'll show you where it is. If I talk to Henry, then I have to do the quest, so I'm not going to do that. It's not worth it unless you absolutely have to do it for 100%. So, Henry's bag that he lost is a scent trail scent around here. It's like right around here. And guess what? As you can see, I'm on ice. I sniff a little bit and I slide. You can be in the perfect position, start digging, but you've already slid past where the scent is. And you just lose it, and you have to reposition yourself and keep trying. You need to... It's a near pixel-perfect position on ice. And if that sounds like not fun, you're right. It's not particularly enjoyable. So, this is Mid. He's a singer. His throat is sore. Good thing we got cough drops off a crocodile. Because that solves all of his problems. And now we're going back to Gola. Fast traveling instead of just walking out there is probably faster. No one's actually timed it, but it's probably less walking. Because you're like right here. And now Tao is going to give us a new quest to find the first book of the Sniff Masters. And this is an interesting segment. If I can aim at the TV. So we're going to go back. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. Double make sure. I need to go to Snow Village, and I'm going to go over to the East Chili Fields. We've been going to the West Chili Fields, but this is the East. And this part, what the game wants you to do is it wants you to bark at this penguin. And then the penguin takes a random path across the ice, and you're supposed to follow it and to stay safe. We're going to be nice to the penguin and not bark at it. Make sure I know where I'm going. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I went too far. The path is consistent. It's always the same. I just messed it up there. No big deal. Let's do it again. We're still not going to bark at the penguin. Be nice to the penguin. He didn't do anything wrong. He's just trying to vibe on the shore or on the other side of the ice. There we go. So over here is the Sniff Master book. Easy pickup. Now what I'm going for here, there's a scent really close to this polar bear. Unfortunately, he kind of ran away from me. If you get that perfectly, the polar bear will kill you during the sort of presentation of you picking up the item. Polar bears have a very long attack animation, kind of contrary to what they look like. They're longer than other animals, and they do outlast your iframes from digging. So you can overlap a death with the item pickup there, and it's honestly pretty cool. However, we did it. We found the first book of the Sniff Masters. We're actually getting pretty close to like endgame kind of stuff. And the endgame to this is crazy, let me tell you. So what we need to do is we need to go home. We've done enough for one day. It's time to go home and sleep. We'll be going back to Tao very shortly to pick up some new quests, effectively. Hey, look, the tree is bigger. Don't forget to look at the tree every time it gets bigger. That's a very easy thing to forget. And it loses a lot of time if you forget to look at the tree. Because nothing will progress until you've checked that cutscene. And there's really no other sign as to like why. Like Potassi doesn't really tell you anything here. It's just you need to watch the tree, take a nap, and then go back to Tao. And he'll have some hints as to where some new dogs that need help are. And we're about to do my favorite minigame. because this minigame is just pure, like, when you do the ILs for this, it's just incredible. Just shaving down effectively frames of movement at this point. So Tao's just telling us, hey, there's someone in Giggly Village. So we're going to go over there. And we're going to do the racing minigame. The racing minigame is very cool and very fun. Also, this is Will. Will, he plays fair. He's honestly too good of a guy. He's got a cool scarf, sunglasses that he doesn't even put over his eyes. Racing is pretty straightforward. The objective of racing is actually just to get the 3 flags and then cross the finish line in that order. So you may be thinking, well, if all you need to do is grab the 3 flags and then cross the finish line, it feels like it'd be open to like some level of interpretation as to like how you get to those things, right? Like, you're correct. Will takes the road. He is an honorable dog, and he takes the road. Whereas we take the straightest lines possible to go from point A to point B. You can see Will kind of in the distance on the mini-map in the bottom right. And you can see how he's doing in comparison to our strategy. It seems like it's not working out so well for him. So a really good time for this is like a 45. Obviously, like a 46 isn't bad either. It's just, yeah, 45. 45 is pretty average for me. Whether or not it's plus or minus like milliseconds, I never pay attention. But a 45 is very good for any percent. It's obviously not like IL record, but it's still very good. And Will just tells us that, hey, the last member of the Victory Gang is in Rune Village. Too bad you can't get there because there's a sandstorm that has been going for weeks. And we know the sandstorm. We've been outside in the sandstorm already. But we're determined. We're going to go anyway. And what happens here is, this is Sair. If Jeremy is the keeper of making sure it doesn't rain, Sair is the guy in charge of making it so there's no sandstorms. And he has a magic stick that controls the sandstorms, and he lost it. So we're going to go get his stick from a cave over on the west side of the North Sandy Desert. Easy enough. And say goodbye to the very loud sandstorm. Most of the audio balancing in this game is very good, but the sandstorm is like noticeably very loud. At least it always has been for me. And it's gone forever. Goodbye, sandstorm. So we're not going to go immediately across the desert to Rune Village. We're going to actually go back to Pupsville and pick up some quests. Unfortunately, the items for these quests don't spawn unless you pick them up first. We've gotten lucky with some other quests that the items are just always there. These ones, though, they're not as nice. So this is Wilbur. he wants to make a hot air balloon, actually. But he needs a fuel source for his hot air balloon. So he's asking us to go find something called burning water. It's this black water-like liquid that when you put it to fire, it burns. Cool. I think we can find something like that. And Peter. Peter. He wants us to find a flower for Amalia so that he can show his affection and that he can try and win her over. So we're going to find him a flower in the North Sandy Desert that is good enough for Amalia. So that's two things. And we're going to go back to Giggly Village now. There's actually one more thing that if we didn't need to do these other quests first, it would be optimal to pick up something else on the way. But it won't spawn yet. So we're going to have to make 2 trips to North Sandy Desert, unfortunately. Not a huge deal, but it's a little out of the way. So we're going to go over here to the north side of the oasis and pick up a flower for Amalia. Easy enough. The burning water... Okay. This area has vultures. Vultures can be very mean. Hopefully, I just first try this, and I don't get attacked. Good. Iframes. So I got the burning water. I'm gonna get hit, probably. Oh, no? Got lucky. Okay. I wonder if that's this scent. It is. I probably have more stuff than I need, but it's better to have more scents than need to pick them up later. So, one other thing we do here, this is the first time we've ever talked to a shop, but we're just going to buy them out. Everything we buy here counts as a cent, so it's just kind of like a free pickup, effectively. Money isn't really like an obstacle. And this is the final member of the Victory Gang. This is McCoy. McCoy's going to challenge us to an interesting game, in fact. It's a first to 3. And it's soccer. 1v1 soccer, first to 3. And go, basically. This minigame, I am not good at it. The AI is very hard to fight, honestly. They kind of just bully you sometimes. McCoy's helping me out. McCoy's being a bro. Thank you, McCoy. Wow. That was incredible, in fact. That was my own fault a little bit, but we're just going to steal the ball back. Nice. 2. One more. As long as McCoy doesn't, like, bully me too much here, this is fine. Uh-oh. This is unfortunate. That was a really weird dive. I don't know what he's doing. Help me out. Okay. Good enough. Good enough. That was a very good soccer, despite the last goal. So now that we've completely finished all of the Victory Gang, we're effectively their leader. We just need to, like, confirm it. But first, we're going to go drop off the burning water and the premium hibiscus that we found with Wilbur and Peter, respectively. And then we're going to meet a new character, effectively. Like, we could have already met this character, but we just haven't yet. Because there's been no reason to talk to them. So we're going to give Wilbur his burning water, and he's going to make a hot air balloon. It's going to... No one's going to like it. It's effectively a disaster. He's really disappointed that people didn't like his hot air balloon. Yeah. I kind of feel for him, but at the same time, why were you trying to make a hot air balloon on this island? I don't know. And then we give Peter the flower. And he's going to try and impress Amalia with it. And let's see how that goes. Except I'm skipping it. Spoilers. I don't think she likes it. I just don't think she likes Peter. So, it's all in vain. New character, though. This is the clothing store. You may have noticed that all of the dogs, except us, wear clothes. You can choose to wear clothes, and this is where you buy them. Or craft them with disposable items. As you can see, items have a use, and it's clothing. Unfortunately, the clothing has nothing to do with sense, so there's not really any reason for us to ever interact with it as a system. But it is, like, pretty cool that it exists at all. For, like, casual play, you can make your dog look however you want them to. You can dress them up however you want. All of the clothes in the game, all of the obtainable clothes are just worn by other dogs. Like, you can see what everything looks like. But what they wanted, the designer, they wanted a beautiful feather, which is right here. And no, it's not there until you talk to them for the first time. So, unfortunately, we couldn't have picked that up during any other trip to North Sandy Desert. We had to wait until we actually had the quest for the fashion store. But we're going to go turn that in. And then become the leader of the Victory Gang, actually. We're getting pretty close to the end. At least we're ramping up to the end. It may seem like this is just a bunch of side quests, which it kind of is. Things are about to turn for better or worse in terms of, like, interesting pacing in the plot. Let's just say that. Like, the plot has been pretty tame so far. It's got some interesting stuff out there, but it's gonna take a turn in a little bit. I think 208-ish with how many extra fish I had. This is pretty decent, honestly. We do have one more fishing segment coming up, but it's not, like, right now. First, we do need to go back to Rune Village, actually. Because there's one more quest. For another dog. His name is Tancredi. And he seems to have lost his hat. No, not the one he's wearing. Not the one he's wearing. He's lost a different hat. And he wants us to go get it back from a snake in the cave. It's like, okay. I see. So I'm going to go steal a hat from a snake. And I'm going to do something... I probably don't even need to do this because I have so many cents. But... this is just a really cool... little overlap you can do. That starfruit is guaranteed to be there. If an area of a map only has one possible location for ascent, it is guaranteed to be there. And that cave has one location for a starfruit, one location for a lemon, and one location for an apple pear. So all three of those spawns are 100% consistent. You can only get 2 of them right now, but if we needed the other one, it is guaranteed to be there. Like, we don't even have to think about it. That, like, the starfruit that we just picked up, it will never be anywhere else. So Master Tao here, he's going to give us another quest. We found the first book of the Sniff Master not too long ago in the Chilly Fields, and he wants us to get the second book. Which, sure, why not? It seems easy enough. In fact, it's, if only this item spawned before you could do this. Because it's in Rune Village. Unfortunately, the talking to Tao here is the trigger to spawn it, and he won't give you the quest until you've done Tenekri's quest, which you need the other ones, yada yada yada. But there it is. The second book of the Sniff Masters. And back to Tao we go to turn it in. At which point he is going to tell us, hey, that tree you planted, you should go look at that. And again, there is not a tree cutscene until you've turned this in, so this is a bunch of fast traveling. On PS2 especially, this segment is very slow because all of these Boris travels take much longer. So we're kind of living in luxury on Wii with these load times. So we need to go check the tree. And then once we've checked the tree, we go back to Tao again. The tree is actually pretty big, which is a good sign. It means we've completed all the side quests we needed to do. Not all of the side quests in the game, but all of the ones that, as much as we need, is really all there is to that. You can choose to do not all of them. I think casually a lot of players would be like, yeah, I'm going to clear all this recurrent side quest before I go on to the next day, which I think is fair. Like, I probably did that when I played it casually. And now Tao is going to ask us, hey, have you smelled 100 different things? And I think we have. I think we definitely have. We definitely have. Okay, if you have not smelled 100 things, he will not give you the key. And we need this key in order to actually like finish the game. So now that we have the key, it's time to do the final fishing segment. I'm at 12 right now. 12. 12 bad fish. This last fishing segment is a 38% chance. My PB / the Wii record gets its second try. So not even record has perfect RNG. Just very good. So I'm gonna just run over to this here pond and start fishing and hope to get it very soon. Optimally, when you know it's not the right fish based on the size. That's not the right fish, so I fail quickly. I will count it anyway. That's 13. Even if I'm not picking it up. it's still a bad fish. The fish we're looking for is very large. So that's not it. So that's 14 bad fish. Maybe. The time it takes for a fish to bite the hook is also RNG. This is the correct fish, by the way. So it's 14 total bad fish that I've had this run. So at the end, when all things are said and done, I will be donating $70. And if anyone wants to match that, feel free. So we need the fish to actually progress in this dungeon. That's the only reason we pick it up. We'll see it in a second. First, we use the key that Tao gave us to actually open this door to begin with. And now we go downstairs. And we use the fish to open up the next door. It's effectively a key. Ancient key, because this is an ancient fish. You may recognize it as a coelacanth if you play Animal Crossing. Yeah, it's basically the same thing. I mean, it is the same fish. So we need to put the fish on the pedestal here. And that opens a door to go to the lowest level of Kunku Ruins. And inside Kunku Ruins, we need to get 2 statues, a gold and a silver dog statue. They're not really that well hidden, but that's maybe because I just know where to go. I think casually, this area is pretty big. There's you have to check every corner effectively. The gold statue's up here, but it's behind this door. So you dig at the door and you learn about a button scent. So we need to go find that button. And if you don't know about the button scent, then you actually can't press the button, which makes it so we need to do this. One of the things we're looking for a lot of the time with, glitch hunting is a thing that some of the community is very interested in for this game. So far, we found 0 useful glitches. There are some glitches that don't help you, but as far as the speedrun goes, nothing useful has been found yet. One of the best goals we could have is maybe we can get in here early and be able to complete this dungeon without having to get 100 cents, for instance. That would be the dream. That or really any of these late game areas early. But it's unclear if that's really possible or if the game would even behave correctly from being in these locations early. So this is just Potassi telling us that we need to collect these 2 statues. We already have 1, but we're not going to worry about that right now. You do learn the scent for the missing one for the one you don't have yet. So you can track it normally if you want to. But it's just right back here. There's actually a hidden room. You can tell where it is on the map, but it's not necessarily obvious that it's there. Because these vines are just fake. And that snake went to sleep very quickly. So we're going to use these 2 statues to open a door. And this door is going to open and give us the Sniff Master medal, which is proof that we are actually a Sniff Master. It's only taken 2 hours and 20 minutes to become a Sniff Master. What does that get us? Well, like a little coin, basically. So we're back at Tao now. convenient fast travel out, thankfully. And now he's going to level us up. You may notice that we're at 7 out of 10 hearts. You can level up 3 more times, effectively. But, we never do. We never need to. That health is optional as far as we are concerned. So we're going to take Boris here. And we're going to go back to Rune Village again. Because the Sniff Master Medal is used in Rune Village, conveniently enough. In fact, it's used in this cave where we stole a hat from a snake. This path takes us to a place called the Ancient Grove. We just need to slip by this one snake, place the coin thing in the slot, and that raises the water level so that we can swim across into the Ancient Grove. Field undisturbed for centuries. Untouched by literally any, like, sentient creature. And we're gonna go dig up flowers. So, we're looking for the Ancient Flower. And in order to do that, we find a few petals laying around. Because we need the legendary flower to cure our brother. That's, like, why we're here. And 2 petals. There's a 3rd one over here. And that'll give us a cutscene where we do find the legendary flower. So we don't have to find the flower itself, just the 3 petals. The game gives us the flower. Unfortunately, it's wilted. That's a problem, I guess. So, Potassi tells us that, hey, we have a way we can fix this. The queen, the queen of the Ankh, effectively, like, Potassi's, like, royal leader of whatever spirit realm he is from, can fix the flower. So we just need to go see her. How do we get to her? Well, it's in a very interesting location. You may think, well, we've been growing that tree the whole game, right? It's probably that, right? No. It's not. But we do go to Pupsville. And, like, you could look to the left here and see the tree, and that's not it. No, we're going to go to Green Meadows. And right over there, cutscene. This tree that has had a bear in front of it the entire time is a sacred tree that is able to transport us between dimensions. So, we're going to go to the spirit world and meet the Ankh Queen. And as we're doing so, we're going to skip the cutscene here, but the island is being destroyed by a whale flying in the sky. Effectively, this is the apocalypse, and we're just going to leave. We're going to go meet the Ankh Queen. The island is about to be destroyed as we're leaving. And it's fine. It's fine. We need to solve the Ankh Queen's trials, though, or she won't let us into her room. Luckily, like, so her room is right there to the left. The trials are all to the right. We're just gonna plow through these trials real quick. This is the trial of, like, I don't even know what it is. Knowing where to go? Using your nose? Something like that? But you just kind of follow the path. You can sniff and it gives you a trail. but if you just know it by heart, you can do it without following the trail. It's still nice to have the option to press A there and get acquainted with where the trail is. I went too far. Just barely. I need this pretty flower. That is the last bat we will see, by the way. He didn't even cause that much issue. But this activates the teleportation stone to take us to the next trial. And this trial is a puzzle. There's some kind of riddle on the tablet there, and we need to dig in these things in the right order. But what if? What if you just did it in the right order without ever having to read? It's never changes. It's always top right, top left, bottom right, bottom left. And then this will activate another teleportation platform to take us to the fourth trial, technically. The first area was technically 2 trials with the flower and the pathway. So the fourth trial, we're in a locked room. How do we get out of the locked room? Well, there's a button on this wall, right here. And then that's the last trial. We can go see the Ant Queen. And this, well, if you thought this was a little weird, it's still going. Because the apocalypse has started. We haven't done anything about that. How much health do I have? Okay. I'm going to try and see if I can do this. Please attack me as I'm getting out of the water. Nice. That's actually what I wanted to see. Because I'm going to try and do a death warp in this next area. So, this is the Ant Queen. She is royalty. We understand what she's saying. And she's going to tell us to go stop the apocalypse, and then she'll help us with our brother. We just need to save the world first. So, avoid that snake right now. This is Kunka Ruins, but again, this time it's a little bit different. These puzzles are honestly they're not hard, but it's more involved, I will say. If you choose the wrong path there, you'll get poisoned and die. But it's always the same path. This snake gets mad very easily and will kill us. And we can death warp. It's mildly faster if you're at low health there to death warp versus just running. This path here is a nightmare. It may not look like much. Like, it's semi-transparent. You can just kind of follow it, right? Well, the edges have magnets, and they try and pull you off. It's not a good time if you try and go too fast. It can be really tough to actually take that path safely. And down here we have just another, like, door button thing. We need to sniff the door to get the scent for a button, to find the button to open the door. Not a huge deal. Nice. Okay, not taking damage there is really good. We do have to fish one more time, but there's no RNG here. This is just fish. Get the ancient fish. This pier is 100% ancient fish. Nothing else is down here. No real RNG involved. At least nothing that matters. Of course, like, you can lose seconds to the fish just taking a while to bite the hook. But it's nothing you need to worry about, really. Okay. I'm not in a good position to waggle, apparently. Never had the ancient fish be that aggressive. Usually these things are pretty calm. Yeah, this is more like the behavior I would have expected. Okay, that's fine. You know what, I'll even count that as a bad fish since I missed it. So that's 15 total bad fish. The world record, by the way, has 1, so you get an idea of the RNG involved. So we're about to do something interesting. There's a boss fight. There's an honest-to-God boss fight here. It's probably not what you'd expect either. Or maybe it is. I don't know. Did you expect this? Anyone expect this? It's not that one. So you need to press these buttons 4 times. It's random. You just kind of need to know based on sniffing. It should be the green one. It's the red one. So based on the meter, you can kind of just tell. And then phase 2, easier than phase 1. You just dig in the middle of the room. Oh, that's the boss fight. And then we have an auto-scroller and 4 minutes, and the game is basically over. We're just going to skip a bunch of cutscenes after this auto-scroller, and then finish the game. This auto-scroller is actually not RNG. We thought it, at one point we thought it was. Kind of just assumed, in all honesty. But it is 100% consistent. There is a path to take that is faster. The longer paths will take you 3 minutes. The shorter paths will take you 2. And that's reasonable time save at the end of the run like that. So I don't really have the path memorized. I usually have notes in front of me. But I'm going to do my best to remember what it is. I think it's right. Yeah, because you don't want to take the bats anyway. The bats will be slower. Yeah, and it's definitely not 3 rights. It's probably like left, right, middle, or something like that. I want to say middle. Yeah, and then left, right, left, middle, or something like that. Nope. left. I know what I'm looking for in the last one, at least. We're down to like the last couple paths here. I think it's right. Oh no. That was the end. Never mind. I'm wrong. We're gonna go like one more. Oh no, it was fine. Okay, never mind. It was just a longer animation. That is the end though. Okay. We're just gonna mash through text now. We're gonna stop the apocalypse and save the world. Time will be coming up in a couple minutes. This should be like a 2:36 probably, if I'm guessing correctly. And 2:36 is still like a really good time, especially for the RNG we had. That's a very good time still. So we're just gathering all our friends together. We're going to use the power of friendship to stop the apocalypse, and yeah. Except we're going to skip the cutscene that does it, so you don't get to see saving the world. You should play it casually, though, if you want to see it. And we're just going to leave. We're going to do something JP exclusive here. On JP, we can actually skip the final cutscene. On English, we can't. So it saves 25 seconds. Again, unless you really need the time, it doesn't particularly matter. It's just nice to be able to skip. Time will be coming up on the first frame of credits after these 2 load screens. And time. 35:22. That's pretty good, honestly, for that RNG. This is the Dog Island. I am Phantom5800 on Twitter and Twitch, and I stream RPGs. I mean, there's this. I stream Paper Mario, Mega Man Battle Network, other stuff. Come hang out if you want to. Support the charity, and get ready for whatever the next run is, because I actually don't remember. Thanks for having me, everyone. Glitch, GSA. I appreciate everyone, and have a good rest of the marathon.